What was your reaction to last night's Tigers game? I turned them off. It was one of the first times this season that I just said, you know what, I'm good. I know exactly what's going to happen here. It's like watching the same movie over and over again. You know the ending. Jack Flaherty's going to convince you he's a great pitcher again for 4 innings, and then in the 5th inning it's going to be extremely frustrating. By the time he gets taken out of the game, it's going to be too late. The Tigers are down 4-1 at that point, and then the bullpen comes in and does bullpen things. The second I see Tommy Kahnle running out into the game, I said, I'm all good. I'm all good. And it was one of the first times this season I just flat out quit on the Tigers last night. Would I have quit on the Tigers if they didn't start in a rain delay and it wasn't 11:30? Maybe. I don't know the answer to that, to be quite honest. But at 11:30, I was like, I'm good. If they come back, they come back. But I know Tommy Kahnle's going to make this worse before he makes it better. And I wasn't in a mood. I wasn't down to get all angry at 11:30, so I just decided to turn him off. He needs to be DFA'd, Kyle. Like, there's no way that they can keep putting him out there in any sort of situation where they need a pitcher to come through. It feels like you wave the white flag when he rolls out there.
Right. I mean, yeah, it really does, and it feels like, especially when you compare the rest of the bullpen guys that come into that game, it's just there wasn't anyone that was coming in that's like, okay, they're going to sustain this a little bit, and maybe they'll give the offense a chance to get back into the game. It was just like every arm that comes in, like Herter's fine. You know, maybe eventually he's going to be okay, but he's not great this season. And then obviously Kahnle is just, been a disaster. Cody Hoyer is just, what are we going to get out of that guy? So, like you said, it was really good. It's deja vu, right? Jack Flaherty can go 3 or 4. He can get you through 60, 70 pitches, but once he sees that lineup a third time, once he gets to the end of his run, the wheels fall off every single time, and they kind of try to get as much out of him as usual. At least every time he's out there, it seems like he's throwing 100 pitches, And for some reason, I don't really know why that's the case, because it's not like he's been this elongated starter all season as far as innings pitch-wise. He's not the same guy he was last year, length of pitching sessions-wise. So, yeah, it's frustrating, man. It was one of those games that we've seen a ton of times, like you said.
This is why I've always floated around the idea of putting Jack Flaherty in the bullpen.
Right.
You never want him to go more than 4 innings anyway, so you may as well just say, hey, Jack, we're giving you, come in, give us 3 awesome innings. Today would be a perfect day for it. It's like a bullpen day. Just give us 3 good innings, and we'll figure out the rest. Your role is a little bit different than it was a year ago, and I think that's fine, but they continue to roll him out there, and by the time Hinch takes him out, it's usually too late because it happens in the blink of an eye.
Right.
Here's a walk. Here's 2 singles. Usually it's the bombs. Yesterday he wasn't getting hit hard. It was just a ton of singles, and you couldn't get anybody out in that 5th inning. So it's it's frustrating.
I will say, though, the offense isn't any better as far as just, some of these. It's not the fact that they didn't put up a ton of runs. They put up 6 runs. Sure, that's fine. But
they're getting help from unexpected play. And not unexpected, but, Dingler hits a home run yesterday.
Why are they striking out so much, man?
I don't know. Maybe because their best player goes out there and just swings aimlessly.
Hey, Riley Green, 0 strikeouts yesterday, by the way. 2 doubles.
First time since May. He's had 0
Spencer
strikeouts.
Torkelson, 4 Ks. 24 strikeouts in these 2 games against the White Sox. And I get it. This Tigers team, they're top 5 on the season in team strikeouts. So, they've been, and obviously Riley Green plays a big part in that because he plays every day and leads the league in them. But against these White Sox pitchers, how are the bats incapable of going on one of those innings like the White Sox had yesterday? Right? That 5th inning where they just get 5 straight bloop singles, basically, to bring in a ton of runs. How are the Tigers incapable of having that type of inning against a much worse pitching staff in the White Sox? Against a bunch of guys that have pitched for 3-4 different teams this season.
I've got a better question. How did we get to a point that Scott Harris, for the longest time, preached controlling the zone and having good at-bats?
Great question.
And now we've shifted so far the other way to where you said they're top 5 in strikeouts.
3rd most Ks in the league as far as post-All-Star break as well.
How have we shifted? Because a year and a half ago when Scott Harris showed up, it was all about controlling the zone, having good at-bats, fighting through counts, working the pitcher. It's like they've thrown that out the window, and they're just try to hit as many home runs as possible. I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It's quite frustrating as far as, like you said, that's been the number one thing Scott Harris has always talked about. And obviously from a pitching perspective, yeah, you could say that they are still using that, scenario, but the bat's definitely not. It's been quite frustrating. It kills me when this team of White Sox players that no one knows goes off on this big inning, and then they have a bunch of guys on the mound that no one also knows, And our Tigers bats that are much better offense and much better pitching staff can't replicate what they're doing.
It's no different than the Twins a couple weeks ago.
Right.
Less than 2 weeks ago.
Even game one you win. It's like you scored. It took a Spencer Torkelson late bomb to win it. It's like, why can't we just have these big innings early in games like the White Sox are having against us?
Well, they used to do that all the time. Like in the first half of the year, it felt like once a week in the first inning, it was like, hey, it's 6-0. Like you can turn the game off. They've won it already.
They just have,
and they don't have those games.
They've
anymore.
been unable to put together stretches of good at bats. Of 3, 4, 5 guys in a row, all putting together. Even if one of them gets out, it's still a good at bat. They have not been able to do that over the last several weeks. It's timely hitting. I think that some of the guys have been clutch, but as far as overall, it's just been a much different batting staff than it was early in the season.
989-837-6125. Let's get to a couple YouTube comments and Mint messages. We've got Nick from Bay City texting in, says they need to DFA Kahnle, make Flaherty a reliever, and bring up Melton or Ham. At least they'd have reason. At least they'd have a reason to give up 5 runs per game. Nick from Bay City. Yeah, I mean he's echoing all the things that we've been saying. Melton's already with the team, but
I assume he means putting him back in the starting rotation. I'd figure.
I mean, yesterday I kind of laid out the case that I'm comfortable with the role Melton's in, and I don't want to just backtrack on that after one day, but You can't throw Flaherty out there for a 5th inning. You simply can't do it. So if he's not going to be a starter that you trust for more than 4 innings.
Is he just a long opener at that point,
4 innings max. You got to at least I don't think they're ever going to do it. Bring him out of the bullpen. I think he's making too much money.
Exactly. He's a top 10 paid pitcher in the sport.
Which is nuts. And next year his salary gets cut in more than cut in half. He goes from 25 to 10 million with a player option. He's most certainly opting into that because there's no one out there that's going to sign him for more than $10 million. It's one of Scott Harris's worst contracts. Nothing beats the Alex Cobb deal, but he overpaid Flaherty, man. And there's a reason that Flaherty sat in free agency. And they didn't sign him until January.
Yeah, it was pretty
February.
Late, for sure.
No
February,
one wanted
probably.
him. I don't think the Tigers were competing with anybody. So why he got $25 billion this year, I don't really know. And it's not something I'm going to sit here and complain about because there's no salary cap, so there's no implications. But it definitely changes their other plans and limits them from spending elsewhere.
This big spending that they have done has definitely not paid off.
It's
that's
gross.
Sure.
It's gross. The only contract.
We wonder why they don't want to spend. Because every time they do, it seems to work out tremendously.
Because they screw up. The Hobby contract, the Cobb contract. The Flaherty contract.
Eduardo Rodriguez worked out for them, but at the that it ended up not being a great contract. It worked out for the Tigers, obviously, but
the Tigers have 3 of the worst contracts in Major League Baseball between Jack Flaherty, $25 million this year, $10 million player option, Alex Cobb, $15 million, who's yet to make his debut. And at the end of the day, the Javi Baez contract is still insane. I know he's come around and was an all-star this year, but he's still...
First 3 years, obviously, play the bad part, yeah.
First 3 years were terrible, and he's still, yesterday included, has some of the worst at-bats you'll see in Major League Baseball. When they cough up money and actually try to get aggressive, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and that is a Scott Harris issue. Congratulations, you have the number 2 prospect in baseball. Your baseball team at the major league level is falling apart, and you could not fix it. Who is Scott Harris, if not for Kevin McGonigal being the number 2 prospect? I'll tell you what he is. He's unemployed. That might be a little egregious because he's only been here 3 years, but I'll tell you what, there's more people calling for him to be
The team is still
fired.
good. I think that's just kind of the part that plays into this as well,
989-837-6125. This one, unnamed texter, Kyle Ben. Oh, no, I think it's from Kyle, but not, yeah, Kyle in Auburn, not Kyle behind the glass producing for us. Ben, you're preaching it right today. Thank you. I can only look at 2 people when it comes to this pitching and inconsistent hitting. Scott Harris and Chris Dollar-Tree Illich. No, Ben, the Tigers' favorable schedule doesn't guarantee them wins or guarantee them a playoff spot. The Tigers lose the series to the Pirates, Twins, and on the verge of losing to one of the league's worst White Sox. The Tigers will have a worse record than the Red Sox and Mariners by the end of the week. Confident in that. We both sniffed out this Mariners. I mean, on the show, we've sniffed out this Mariners thing for a while.
Yeah.
Post-deadline.
Even before they played, that series leading up to when they played the Tigers, it was this team, matches up really well against Detroit.
And ever since the deadline, even despite Geno Suarez not really being elite for them so far, they can't stop winning.
8 wins in a row, and they are now the favorite to win the American League. Tigers have been overthrown as far as the sports books go.
Yeah, tough scene there. Let's get to a YouTube comment. We still got more mint messages. We will get back to those. Gary in the chat says, is it time to recall Dylan Smith from AAA?
I would say just at this point, you might as well just start testing stuff out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's 2 or 3 guys in the bullpen that you trust, and they're all back-end guys. We need
There's no setup guy
we
other
need
than
guys
Melton.
to eat these middle innings. Exactly. And so if Dylan Smith can show us, I think he showed some sparks. He's young. He's one of those guys that even if he's bad, you're not going to be like, oh, cut him, because eventually you think he'll be good. But he is young. So, sure, I think I'm in on it, Gary. Why not, It's worth testing out anything.
Yeah, I think that's at the, if Scott Harris's entire strategy is throw stuff at the wall and see what sticks, you may as well keep doing it. There's no point in stopping now.
Yeah.
Keep switching things up until you figure something out, because right now it feels like the bullpen is so helpless that if you're going to have that type of game against the White Sox, again, it's one game of 162. So you don't want to overreact to one, but it's more so a magnification of what has happened throughout the course of the season, specifically the last 2 months of this bullpen being so bad.
Yeah.
Last night, I quit on them for the first time this season. I was just like, screw it. I'm not watching this anymore. I know exactly what's going to happen when Kahnle comes running out of the bullpen. This deficit that they're facing is going to become even larger. And sure enough, I wake up and find out that's exactly what happened. 989-837-6125.